Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another card making tutorial video. Today I've got some stencil layering spring themed cards using brand new products from the Waffle Flower April 2023 release, and each card features gloss black accents. This release is so full of beautiful products, and even products if you love to stitch on cards. I'm not doing any stitching today, but you can see that these circle and rectangle new frames would be perfect for that. So I will be sharing some stitching ideas a little later on this month. We're going to start with this beautiful butterfly here, and we are going to go ahead and die cut this from a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of smooth white cardstock. This is the Pop-Up Butterflies panel die. And what is awesome is there are stencils that will stencil each half of this butterfly. So let me grab my glass mat for stenciling and then grab our stencil set. It's a 2-piece stencil, and you can do contrasting colors. You can do all kinds of things with this really cool stencil set, and you can use the stencils without the die if you prefer. So what I decided to do was to create a rainbow effect of butterflies, very springy, and do a lighter shade on one half of the butterfly and then just a little shade darker on the other half. I'm using my favorite Simon Says stamp, Pawsitively saturated inks for this. And I've got them all laid out here in a very springy rainbow of color. So you'll notice that the color palette I picked is probably a little more of the, I would say, a pastel-y type shades of rainbow instead of the primary shades. All of my favorite colors. This has been my color palette here lately, and so I just stuck with it. And I love being able to do this. Now you could very easily stencil all of them the same color. You could do an ombre effect within the same color family, maybe going down or up, however you like to do that, and create different effects that way. There are just a lot of different ways to use this particular stencil set. I think it is really fun, especially if you like butterflies. So I'm going to speed up the video a little bit to do the second half. Let me move my light shades out of the way really quick. Lay down my second stencil, and I do love that the Waffle Flower stencils are labeled like 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. Really helps give you an idea of the order to stencil if you ever have trouble with that. I don't think it would matter that much with this particular one, but I appreciate it in general because I think it's very helpful. So you can see the darker shade going on here, and of course they will smooth out as the ink is absorbed into the cardstock. When I remove the stencil, look at this beautiful background, and then you can just pop up the wings. Now I don't want to do that too much yet because I want to add a little distressing to my background, of course. So in my splatter box, which is just a plastic box it's like a storage box from a discount store, I am going to spritz some, oh my gosh, I can't talk, salvaged patina distress oxide ink, very lightly, just to give it a little bit of that grungy look. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and now we're going to foil. So this video really kind of features a lot of different techniques, and I am going to do a gloss black foil. I do not do gloss black very often, but I love the effect. So this is the butterfly, and there are lots of butterflies in this release. And what we're going to do is going to foil the butterfly on hammer mill cardstock. And then we're also going to foil the sweet pea on hammer mill cardstock using gloss black, or black, pardon me, foil from Spellbinders. So I'm using my Spellbinders hot foil system, just a little touch of foiling here. Now I do believe, I know the sweet pea for sure, I'm sorry, I can't remember about the butterfly, has a coordinating stamp set. So if you would rather, stamp and stencil, you can do that too. There's lots of options. And of course, coordinating stencils for both. So once I have both of these foiled, I am going to stencil them and then take the coordinating dies and die cut them. And the butterfly is the delicate butterfly. I think I forgot to mention that. So I'm going to take Tide Pool and Tropic for the greenery on my sweet pea image. And you can see that the two layering parts of this are on the same stencil. And I didn't end up needing to mask anything off, but you definitely can do that if you need to. Just trying to be super careful. Stencil 2 is going to have the 3 areas for our flowers. So for this, I am going to use Carnation, Peony, and Rose inks from Simon Says Stamp. And I am going to have to grab my rose ink out to do that because I only had my light colors out for the butterfly background. But there is a third section on this stencil, and you can see how well the stencils line up. Love that. And nope, still goes this way. So let's grab the peony ink and add our layering. I just love stencil layering. It makes everyone successful at coloring. I love that. And finally, our last little piece here, just for the flowers. Okay, and then I'm going to stencil the die cut this and stencil the butterfly. So here is the die cut. Look how beautifully it die cuts that image. We'll just clean up my die real quick with the Spellbinders Tool-in-One, and we're going to stencil the delicate butterfly. Now with the butterfly, I again opted to do kind of multiple colors of ink. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. We are going to go ahead and die cut a border for our sweet pea background. So sorry. This is the Nesting Dotted Rectangles die. And these are the dies I was saying at the beginning of the video that you can stitch with as well. I love stitching with them, but I also really love that little tiny dot die cut with a contrast behind it. And in this case, we will be placing gloss black cardstock behind this. I love these borders. There is the nesting dotted squares and circles, and I believe diamonds as well. Just amazing. I love these. Now, I found that the Spellbinders Tool-in-One, I just flipped it over and ran the little kind of tool here on the back, and it got all of those little holes clean. And then I'm going to spritz the background with Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink again and let this dry. Ooh, look how pretty that's going to look against that. I love it. Okay, now we're going to stencil the delicate butterfly. Again, it has 1 of 1 and 2 of 2. Or 1 of 2, pardon me, and 2 of 2. And I am going to do that same effect where I do multiple colors. This time just 4 instead of the 6 that I did for the butterfly background. I think that's about all that will fit really well. Unless you use detail brushes, then you probably could get even more. But I think I want to go with like the pink and then the peachy red, orange, and yellow color combination that just says spring to me or something. I love it. And I'm even, you can kind of see a peek there, wearing my cross-stitch shirt that kind of matches some of the products I think today. Now with this, I did find I wanted to add detail to the butterfly body, which you'll see here in a minute. And I also felt like there was too much white. And I always like to kind of let you know my thought process as I'm working. So here is the first layering. I love the black foiling detail. I think that's beautiful. Let's go ahead and line up our second stencil and do our second shade, which is just going to deepen and darken. And I did use 2 shades for this again. So it kind of has an ombre effect, even within using these 4 colors, so that there's more like 8 represented, or 2 shades per color. But I still felt like once I die cut this with the coordinating delicate butterfly die, that there was an awful lot of white space. And for me, that was just a little too much. I looked at it and I thought, you know, I don't think I'm going to be happy with how much white there is. So let's die cut it. And then I will show you how I customize the body of the butterfly with this black pen. This is my favorite gloss black pen. I use it all the time for adding details to eyes. But in this case, I'm just drawing in the butterfly body, which I think complements the black foiling perfectly. But even at that, this is beautiful. But I wasn't completely sure that I was going to like the white. So I'm just going to go with my blending brushes. I'm not even going to add extra color to them. I'm just going to use whatever's left and very lightly ink over each section. And I like that. I think that's going to give us a much nicer contrast against our splatter background. Now I am going to splatter another background. I should have die cut and splattered, but we're going to die cut after this time. And then this background, I ended up using this awesome new stitch plate. So I love this because it almost looks like cross stitch. And if you guys know me, you know that I love cross stitch. So I am using the Tiny Crosses texture die to add texture first. I splattered it with salvage patina, but this almost wasn't enough, and I am going to end up taking the nesting little dotted circles, and I'm going to die cut an accent there so we can pop gloss black back behind. Now this is the sentiment set that I'm using today for all 3 of my cards. This is another brand new set. This is called the Fluttering by Sentiments, and it has coordinating dies. I did stamp all of these with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then I'm going to die cut them with the coordinating dies that cut very close to the greetings. And they're so cute and little and delicate. Absolutely amazing, and of course match the theme and feel, especially of butterfly cards. But you're going to see that I'm going to use the Sending Hugs on the Sweet Bee card very, very easily. And what I love, Fluttering by to say hi, it took me a minute to figure it out. It's 2 separate dies, you guys. So awesome, because you could use the hi by itself, even though it stamps as 1. Because I kept thinking, doesn't this one go with this? No, it does not. That doesn't line up at all. Take another look at your die set there, Nichol. And so really cool. I'm going to have to pull it out and look at it. But we're going to run those through our die cutting machine, and then we're going to start putting it all together. And I love that. So here's that little fluttering by to say. I always just kind of temporarily tape everything down with a little Post-it tape or washi tape and then run it through my die cutting machine. You will need to, as I said, run the 2 sections through individually so that the dies don't overlap. And then I'm going to take the Tiny Crosses background, and you can see that I've already taped one of the circles in place, but I ended up adding 2. I just love the look of 2. And this adds such a fun element to any background design. I love it. It highlights. With this card, I felt like there isn't a lot going on. There's 1 butterfly and a greeting. And of course the Tiny Crosses background is interesting and the splatter is interesting, but those circles are just going to help highlight and really feature the butterfly, and it really elevates the card a lot. So let's run that through the die cutting machine as well. And then I have some gloss black cardstock here from Simon Says Stamp, and I am going to place a whole panel back behind my butterflies, and I'm simply going through and popping up the wings on all of these so that from different angles you see just that peak of black underneath. You could do this with any color. I love that though. And then I'm just going to glue down my greeting very, very lightly. It's almost sitting on top of some of those butterflies, but it's so simple yet so pretty and so effective. And of course we'll add some little embellishments here at the end to finish it off perfectly. I'm going to put some liquid glue on the back of my Tiny Crosses background, place it over along that back edge so you see the gloss black peeking through the circles. Put some foam adhesive back behind the wings of the butterfly, and then liquid adhesive underneath the body so that the wings are popped up, but the body is flush with the card. Glue our greetings in place. And again, liquid glue on the back of our nesting rectangle frames. Gloss black back behind, which really matches the black foiling of our images as well. Nice and bold, glue down our sweet pea, glue down sending hugs. And then we're going to just take pearls in a variety of shades and colors. So I'm just going to do pink, I think, on the sweet pea card. These are the pink blush pearls from Pretty Pink Posh. And I'm using the new little, I can't remember the name of the tool. It's the new tool from Simon Says Stamp. It's like a little picker and placer. It has a little sharp point, so if you need to clean out your dies or pierce anything, it's fantastic, but also has an end which makes placement of little embellishments awesome as well. And then, of course, for both my butterfly cards, we're just going to do an assortment of pretty little pearls. Grab all of these and just pop them in place. And I love the triangle trays from Simon Says Stamp. They make picking up, or funneling the product back into whatever storage container you like, whether you keep them in the little bags they come in, or if you use these little containers, which some come in, like Trinity Stamps comes in these. I love it because you can dump them out easily and see what you pick out exactly what you want, but then you can funnel them back into the container in just a second. And we're going to do a rainbow on this one as well, and then place all of these on white top fold card bases. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this trio of 3 stencil layering cards featuring gloss black accents. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There's exclusive content. You'll receive a handmade birthday card from me during your birthday month, monthly lives for my top tier patrons, and more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you're always notified when I have a video or go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.